بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. اللهم ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر أولياءك في غزة وفي كل مكان. اللهم وانصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم فرج عنا وعن إخواننا في غزة في كل مكان. اللهم نفس كربنا وكربهم وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامهم والطف بنا وبهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. وصل وسلم على محمد عبدك ورسولك ونبيك وصفيك وخليلك محمد وعلي وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته وإطرته وإخواني وأعواني وأنصاري إلى يوم الدين. ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى يوم الدين برحمتك يا أرحم. Okay. According to we actually had covered this paragraph, but it has been a while, so I'll just reread it in case I want to say something more. So, a theory of the state, according to Martin Van Creveld, the state emerged because of the limitation of the innumerable forms of political organization that existed before. And what he should be saying is the modern state, because what were those political organizations? You don't want to call them state, it's up to you, but they existed states before the modern state. The crucial innovation that made the development of the state was the idea of the corporation as a legal person, and thus the state as a legal person. And again, the idea of legal person, as we covered last time, and the idea of limited liability, and the idea of corporation, the idea of company, limited company. These are very important to the development of capitalism. So that tells me that what he really means is the capitalist state, and not the state as such, or at least he shouldn't mean any state required the idea of legal person, because the idea of legal person as such was applied to public corporations before capitalism as well. So we can't say that modern the idea of legal person is unique to the modern state. It enabled the emergence of a political entity whose existence was not tied to the existence of a particular person. The existence of a state was never tied to existence of government was tied to a particular person, but the existence of state was always tied to society. In every society, obviously with the increase in the complexity in a society, the complexity of political organization also increased. But to say that before modern times a state was tied to a particular person is not true. Like even anyway, so we discussed this last time. So, such as chiefs, lords, and kings of particular groups, such as class, tribes, and dynasties. The state was an entity that was more durable, like society. So, as far as I see, state is an aspect of society. So when you see society as a voluntary organization based on consensus, that is society proper. But when you see society as a system of coercion, legitimate coercion, and the institutions related to that, that is a state. So whether or not this advantage was what caused the state to emerge, it seems clear enough that such an entity did come into being. Obviously, it did come into being with the existence of society, and it developed and modified itself and become complex with there's no doubt that modern state is something unique in its reach, its ambitions, concentration of its power. But from that, it would be wrong to infer that the state didn't exist before the modern state, just because the modern state is something more ambitious, more complex, more concentrated, etc. The modern state represents a different form of governance. I mean, we can accept that it represents a different form of government, but from that, it is to infer from this that the state didn't exist before. That's what I'm contesting, at least for now. So let me try to make my point clearer. So what I'm saying is, we can accept the proposition that modern state, since he's just using a state as such, represents a different form of governance. In the sense that it aims to, so it's different from in its concentration of power, its ambit and ambition, and its combination of technologies of self and technologies of government, in its disciplinary power, its governmental power, etc. That's all, true. But from that, what I'm saying is, we can't conclude or can't infer that state as such didn't exist before. What we can say is modern state is unique in many ways in its form of governments and its ambitions, as compared to even pre-modern states, with which it has a lot of resemblance and from which it derived, really. And that is something unique about capitalism, because contrary to what is widely believed, capitalism is not an innovative system. Capitalism hasn't invented anything. It is a theft. It's a system based on theft. It appropriates things it hasn't invented. So it appropriated pre-modern state and just fashioned on its own image. So in that sense, modern state, capitalist state, is closely related to and resembles pre-modern state, especially early modern state. Um, yeah. So, okay. So different form of governance than what's found in European feudalism or in the Roman Empire or the Greek city-state. What I'm saying is modern state emerged from European feudal states and built on it, and then was appropriated by capitalists, became a capitalist and imperialist. Having accounted for the concept of state, however, we need to consider what kind of theory of the state might be a best account for the nature of this entity, by nature of its characteristics and its essence. Ever since the state came into existence, political philosophers have been occupied with the problem of giving an account of its moral standing. Legitimacy and its justification. To be sure, philosophers had always asked the individual should obey the law or what, if anything, could justify rebellions against a king or a prince. But the emergence of the state gave rise to a host of new theories that have tried to explain what relationship people could have, not to a particular person or group of persons with power or authority over them, but to a different kind of entity. So the distinction between rebellion against the government and the rebellion against the state as such. But that distinction also was present before the modern state. To explain the emergence of state in Europe in 13th or to the 19th century would require an account of many things, from the decline of the power of the church, as if church wasn't, at least partially, church was the state or part of a state, and its institutions were the part of a European state and the part of the specific English state, for example. So, decline of the church against king. From the decline of the power of the church, against kingdoms and principalities, to the development of new political power structure with the transformation and eventual disappearance of the Holy Roman Empire. From the disappearance of town and city-state and extended association like Hanseatic League, to the rise of the movement of national unification. So that's the emergence of nation-state, not the state as such. And basically the modern philosophers were, so the early capitalist state, so were closely related to national state or nation states. And the theorization of the philosophers were, most of the philosophers was connected to the nation state and then the problem of international order and all those things. Attempts by theorists to describe the state that was emerging are much a part of the history of the state as the political changes and legal innovations. Bodin, Hobbes, Spinoza, Locke, Montesquieu, Hume, Rousseau, Madison, Kant, Bentham, Mill, Hegel, Tocqueville, and Marx were among the most insightful thinkers to offer theories of the state during the course of its emergence. The theorizing went on well into the 20th century in the thought of Max Weber, the English pluralist, various American democratic theorists, and Michael Oakeshott. They offer theories of the state in the sense that they try to explain what it was that gave the state its point. point. Now it was that the existence made sense. Meaning, point by meaning, justification. The different philosophers provide the justification of state, the theories of the emergence of the state, and things related to that, and theories about the nature of state as well. So they offer theories of the state in the sense that they try to explain what it was that gave the state its point. Now it was that the existence of the state made sense. To some, this meant also justifying the state. Justifying in the sense that not just giving its account, but giving a positive account of it. Though for the most part of this was not the central philosophical concerns. Normative theory, so called, is probably a relatively recent invention. Normative, why should be a state? Why should? How is it a recent thing? Isn't Hobbes' theory normative or Kant's theory normative? We'll see. We should at some point read some of these theories. Okay, this question now remains, what theory best account? Okay, that's a good place to stop, I think. What's the best theory and etc. Okay. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وصلي وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين برحمتك يا